Alright, what is going on YouTube? So last week we actually went to a League Cup at one of my locals and we managed to get 4th out of the 16. Luckily the guy in 3rd was nice enough to split up a box with me, so we did win some packs as well as we got a prize pack for the series. Now, the deck that I went in with is my Giratina V, the first deck I ever built. We did manage to go 3-2, and I'll go ahead and as we're opening, I'll go ahead and show you on the matchups. Alright, so this is the deck that I pretty much went win with. We have the 3 Giratina V-Star along with 3 Giratina V. We have 4 Comphase, 2 Sableye, and a Radiant Greninja and Cramorant for my Pokemon. Supporters, we have the 4 Colress, 2 Roxanne, 1 Iono, 1 Boss's Orders. I might change that to 2. For the item cards, we got the standard 4 Battle VIP, Switch Cart, Mirage Gate. We got Path to the Peaks for our stadiums. We got Nest Ball, Super Rod, Escape Rope, and 2 Counter Catchers. For the energies, we did the dehydrated build, so we got 4 of the grass energy, 5 of the psychic, and 4 of the jet energy. So my first round, the guy had the Lilligant V-Star along with the Toedscruel EX. Wasn't too hard of a matchup. I definitely used Path to the Peak to shut down his Toedscruel EX from being to prevent all my effect damage, so my Giratina V-Star was able to get off the Star Requiem for the final attack against his Lilligant V-Star in order to finish up the game. Wasn't too hard of a matchup. He didn't really get up, he wasn't really able to set up much of his board, but yeah, we go ahead and wiped that match. Second round, the guy had the ironvaliant with the urshifu VMAX. Now this round lasted about 5 minutes. My starting hand wasn't great. I had he had me go first. I had a bunch of switching cards and I had some supporter cards that I could have used for next turn, but I had the Sableye in the active, a Radiant Greninja on the bench, and the guy was able to set up all of his Iron Valiants, basically Yoga Loop with the Medicham V in order to get a second turn, which he then was able to set up his Urshifu to basically knock out my Radiant Greninja, leaving me with no Pokemon left. So, fell victim to Medicham V. Nothing really I could have done in that game. I didn't have any cards that allowed me to be able to shut anything off or prevent abilities or even play any more Pokemon. But after losing that game, we went into our round 3, which was against a Miraidon player. So for this Miraidon game, I felt like it usually goes by a lot of the other Miraidon games that I usually play. A lot of times with Miraidon, you know, I want to prioritize putting down Path to the Peak and just trying to get the 2-2-2 prize race going. So that's pretty much what happened majority of the game. I basically got my board fully set up, was able to get to 10 in the Lost Zone real quick. I didn't get Path to the Peak until later on, so my opponent also got his board all set up. But the moment I did get Path to the Peak set up, I had a Sableye in the active, and I was able to Path to the Peak Roxanne to essentially get rid of his entire hand and drop him to 2 cards. And I had a Sableye in the active, used Lost Mind to set up some damage on his Raichu V to prevent his Raichu V from attacking, getting a stronger attack off on my Giratina V-Star. Next turn goes by, he doesn't have anything, so he pretty much draws a card and passes straight back to me. So I basically was able to set up another Lost Mind, knock out the Raichu V on his bench, and then with the finishing card, I used my Giratina V-Star the following turn in order to knock out and take the last 2 prize cards. Final round 4, we faced off against another Miraidon, so stuck to the plan for the previous game, prioritized using Path to the Peak. I was able to get majority of my board set up, and he got majority of his board set up, but he also was hitting all of his electric generators. Every electric generator he used, he probably got 2 electric energies off, was able to attach him to the bench. But because of how I was moving cards around, how I was disrupting his hand a lot, he couldn't switch majority of his active Pokemon out in order to attack with the bench. So majority of that game, Path to the Peak shut him down from being able to draw or get any more Pokemon out onto the field, and so we got the quick victory on that one. So after the first 4 rounds, we went 3-1. We managed to make it into top cut. We were already guaranteed to go top 4. And for my first League Cup, I was pretty excited just to make it into the top 4. So we had the semifinal game. I went into round 5 facing a Charizard EX. Now, I'm not too knowledgeable about the Charizard matchup, but I do have some knowledge on knowing my prize mapping in order to face off against the Charizard. But the only downside is when we started playing the game, I didn't have any way to deck search in the beginning, so when I was going through all of my comfies and their flower selecting, I lost zoned one of my Giratina Vs, not knowing that my last Giratina V was in the prize cards. So throughout the entire game, I was basically trying to get my one Giratina V set up. My opponent wasn't letting me. He was quick searching, he had Star Alchemy in order to get rid of my Path to the Peak most of the time, and he was able to get off a lot of quick searches, Infernal Rains, getting his Charizard EX powered up and ready to attack. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to set up my board at all. I basically looked at my prize card, saw the Giratina V in there, and I was like, yep, couldn't get a second attacker basically set up. He also played Jirachi in his deck, so he had that on his bench the entire time. Couldn't get Sableye to go and lost mine any of his Pokemon either, but Sableye is not too much of a priority for me, at least when I play against Charizard. I mostly want to try and focus on the Giratina, so just only having the one and lost zoning the other one, it was a devastating blow for me. The other downside is, I remember when I flower selected for that, it was a choice between Giratina V and a Colress's Experiment, and I didn't have Colress in my hand at the time, nor did I have any other way to really draw cards, so in my head, my prioritization was setting up my hand, setting up the field, get the Colress, set up the Lost Zone, and get that squared away. But in the end, ended up hurting me. We went 3-2, still got 4th place, and still got a bunch of these packs. So alright, so it looks like from the box we actually got pretty decent pulls. We did get the Goldango EX full art and a Spathra alternate art, and we got 3 EXs that come with it. Honestly, I'm still missing the Mewtwo EX, which is kind of disappointing, but we did get a couple of new additions to the folder. Let me know what you guys think of these cups, and let me know what your favorite card in the set is.